Battle control initialized.
What's up, guys? It's Black and back some more Combined Arms content. We have a match that I have been waiting for. It is going to be Hyper playing as Shadow in this bottom right corner. He is going to be playing his favorite Nod faction, I believe. And then up here in the top, it is going to be Legato. And yes, he has definitely picked Harbinger 31. And as you can see, I got these fancy graphics finally going for Combined Arms now, so that is going to be fun. We are on Moldovia by Poop. This is a very old Poop map since he has not made maps in a long time. There's things I like about it and there's things I hate about it, and it's interesting enough, I feel like it's almost the opposite between ORA and Combined Arms. There's 3 Orderks right here kind of in the middle. This one's super easy to get. This one much shorter than this one down on the bottom. As you can see that both players kind of tend to want to go for this one, ignore this one, which is fine in RA, but in Combined Arms you can kind of kill those Orderks and then just recap them infinitely. So it's a lot of eco in just these 4 Orderks. Then you got your start here with 3 tip trees, which is a lot. This one in Combined Arms you can kind of almost just crawl to instantly, or you can also just kind of place your MCV here. You'll be able to take this double mine and the single mine, so you get so much eco and it's super defensive on this map. So I would actually not like to play Legato on this map since I think he can be a lot more passive than Hyper. So I think Hyper's going to have a little bit of trouble here, but as a aggressive player, you know, if you can get that opening and kind of turn the momentum like that, it can be very easy to whittle out at a defensive player to passive player and be on the advantage there. Looks like Hyper has an engineer that was stalled for a second there, probably just spent a little too much, and yeah, it looks like he did. Not going for his early old Eric right there, makes a little bit of a mistake. He's got 10 rifles sitting there, and he's got so much porn over here, so yeah, invested a little bit too much into engineers early. He's got 2 of them coming out, and then he's just still forsaking this 3rd one, so that's kind of weird. Looks like he is trying to build one, but I don't like how much he is stalling. I think that is a little rough there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this matchup. I think these 2 players are somewhat similar in skill, and I think they got a little bit of rivalry going on, so it's always nice to catch those games like that. Just got an engineer and a gunwalker coming out, and then that quick move out for Legato. Where is he going to go? He's going to go to the bottom right here, so I'm not a huge fan of this. You can kind of crawl to here, but I mean, it's a little bit more defensive over here. You got less like room to go through, but it also leaves this opening of your base quite a bit exposed. Hyper finally going to get that engineer, and just as that engineer gets in, and just as that engineer gets caught, so that is unfortunate. Had he built this engineer first rather than this one, I think he would have been okay there, but as it stands, Legato's probably going to clean up all 5 of those rifles, and is just going to get that plus the rebate. That's going to be pretty nice. If you're really bad at that gunwalker move right now, those barrels can absolutely kill it, but he gets lucky there. 10 rifles and an engineer for a $600 unit, and that unit's still alive, so that is a huge trade-off there. And that is the total difference right now, 1,400 to 0 destroyed. What does Hyper got going on with this? He's going to build an engineer, because why not? He's up to 2 harvesters, and he is building light tanks and moving into out. That is quite bold. You are going to be super low eco on just 2 harvesters. I imagine Legato, with this move out, has gone into another ref. Indeed, he's probably going to be building another harvester, which I can see that he is indeed. So he's going to be up to 4 harvesters. That is double the eco that Hyper has. I don't know why my brain just like froze there for a second. Legato is going to lose this oil derrick, just an engineer, but I wouldn't expect that to stay very long. I imagine Legato will go right back and capture it again, because why not? Still got the 10 rifles down there too, so that's nice. He's going to be able to secure this for a while, but again, we can see that one gunwalker can actually deal with that. Another plasma cannon coming out right now. Not a big thing. Going up to 2 war factories before radar. I don't know about that as screen, although I do know that Legato enjoys his darkener tanks and those combinations you can do with them rather than the traditional screen infantry. Tier like 1.5. I guess it's only tier 2. You've got eviscerators if you want to go loyalists, impalers if you don't. If not, then it's just ravagers. Then you got your intruders and your gunwalker spam. 2 light tanks coming over here, but no rockets. It's not going to be very effective at all, especially with that defense there. And Hyper just kind of deathballing in the middle here. This gunwalker not going to find his right targets, going to retreat instantly. Probably a smart move. Do we have darkeners coming out? We do not. That rifle actually killing something, that's surprising. Bad move from around there. Plasma cannon gonna get that scout right there. But yeah, as you can see, Legato's kind of like pinned or hold in here right now. Can't really expand it here, at least not with good ref placement. and it's kind of given Hyper the ability to control most of this map. Hyper on the other time looks like he has just expanded to the middle, so he's probably going to crawl back to here. But honestly, like, there's so much tip here. I think crawling a little bit more, just being able to secure this is also good. And then really you can just kind of forsake this backline tree and just push right in here to your opponent with your MCV. And like, what are they going to do about it? They could come up here, sure, but you can just rotate your army. And they can come down here, sure, but you can rotate your army. And if they forfeit this off with an MCV, then you can just take that over. It's 2 trees. That should be enough to sustain you, and you're like right there on their base. So I don't know, I don't like the way that this map tends to play like that. That's the way I would play at least, but this player's playing it a little bit differently, a little bit more concerned about just getting that macro up, less MCV downtime, which is important, sure, but just not something that I super considered. Defense is giving away that Hyper is moving a little bit here. Secret Tank out there, and Legato is going to push down to the bottom. Secret Tank's kind of interesting since I guess he's not up to tier 2. Well, I guess he is finally named, but not really going to do much against Nod. I guess maybe for self-tank harassment, you're going to want that detector units. 5 light tanks coming over here. They could actually do some damage, but there is 2 plasma cannons, and those will rip apart light tanks. Especially with that range like that, you can see that's already a little bit down. This Harvester should get pulled off. But it looks like Legato is paying attention somewhere else. Finally rotating his whole army over. He's going to lose 1 Harvester for sure. Corruptor coming out too. Doesn't really need a Corruptor right now. Hyper going to get away with all those light tanks for now. Hold the whole army out for pretty nothing. And there's the Secret Tank harass. Okay. So it's going to be tit for tat here, although these 2 Harvesters probably going to be at a lot worse for wear. 1 Harvester going down. This one should get away. Hyper is going to jump in on it. Still attacking up there. Nah, he's going to lose all 4 of these Secret Tanks now. But he might get the Harvester. It's going to be really close. Oh, gets it barely. So 4 Secret Tanks for 2 Harvesters. Absolutely worth it. Oh, and there's an Engineer and an Interloper right there. Does not get the route just because of that. That is unfortunate. That was going to be a great play. So nice try up there. Did not go for that. Oh, there instead try to go for a ref. Oh, just as Hyper goes back in up here, the army just decided to move out, but it was a little bit too quick. Loses 2 more light tanks up there. And just a single rifle just poke, you know, there. Gunwalker's gonna try to run down some light tanks. Probably not the best idea, but with that, both these armors are pretty good. I think the economic situation for Hyper is very dire, though. 2 Harvesters over 5. Luckily, he does have those 3 old Erics, and that's probably going to sustain him for just a little bit. But he's definitely going to need to start expanding again. He's up to tier 3, and the Darkener tanks are coming out for Legato. Is he up to tier 4 yet? Nope, not even tier 3 yet. And Legato's pushing out right now, but his army's kind of all spread out. These Corruptors will be really good against this infantry, but if these light tanks go down, then Hyper's going to be in a lot of trouble. Diving on 1 of those Corruptors, that's good. Second one going down as well. Still got a lot of light tanks, but there is 1 Darkener here. Oh, and a move command, that's so bad. Luckily, he kind of fixes it, and I think Legato just didn't have the armor there, so Hyper's going to push through for sure. But these Darkener tanks are going to be a problem. There's 3 of them out. Interloper's not going to do too much here. Might just get killed by the rockets as it runs down, but that was a huge army value swing. Needs less Darkener tanks now and more Corruptors or some plasma cannons, but the problem is that he's moved down here, and like I said, Hyper's just going to go right into the main base, or what's left of it. There's not going to be much in just a second. But he needs to start doing it now. He cannot allow Legato to get out a Corruptor. And nope, it's another Darkener tank, so he's going to be okay. Sells off the racks instantly, so no more defensive structures for him. And he's building a 3rd Warp Sphere, so that is some heavy vehicle play by Legato right now. He's going to actually go down to a 2nd Warp Sphere in just a second. 1 Gunwalker coming out, getting some squishes, or not. Loses his power plant. Gonna lose this refinery as well. Maybe catch some Harvesters in the crosshair. That Commando that was here just got killed, but it was pretty much useless anyways. Oh, Legato. I think he's gonna take a good engagement here just because Hyper was not trying to just target down the Harvesters, instead trying to force fire. All that going down. But Tip Core missiles actually making a difference here. Killing 2 of those Darkener tanks and no more anti-infantry, so he actually might lose all this just to a few rifles and rockets. Another Gunwalker comes in, and that should be the end of all that. What's going on the backside? We got Spectre's artillery out here, so tier 3 is out for Hyper. Still not up on eco. He's got 2 archers there, 2 archers there, so he's on 4 archers this entire time. So these 3 old Erics just making a huge amount of difference there. Legato, he's gonna have to expand all the way back up to his main base, which makes sense. Nowhere to really expand down on the bottom. But I don't think army value is not super ahead of Legato, and I guess again that's just probably because Hyper not super efficient on his eco. Banshee's out here, that's a good choice. That'll delete some heavy tanks. Really good against the Darkeners. Probably okay against light as well. Heavy armor defenses, I guess so. I guess they're not good against light. And then you got that air versus AA debuff stuff that goes on in combined arms, which I'm not a huge fan of. It makes some combinations a lot more harder to deal with because you want to deal with air, but you kind of can't. And then, yeah. Buzzer Swarm, complete missing there. Trying to go after the Commando. That's just a little too slow. These buzzers, a little too fat. Commando actually might go down to these forward-facing Corruptors, but instead, Hyper's going to sacrifice all his infantry. Almost gets 1 Corruptor's first shovel, but man, he's got not a whole lot here. Banshee's back out, going to kill a Darkener tank. That's good. Commando's going to go down in just a second. Oh, and then the Darkener tanks reveal the Spectres. That is unfortunate. And now Hyper is in a little bit of trouble right now. Again, I think his eco just failing him. He's got excess cash, so maybe it's just more of his production since he's on 1-1-1. Not bad. He loses his ref there, and he just doesn't have a whole lot to deal with this. I think his mistake was not getting up to tier 4. I mean, more eco is always nice too. Going air against Scrin is also a crazy investment. Not something that I like to do at all. Shadow Team gonna kill a ref over here. That's fine. There is a Gunwalker though, so you might lose those before they go down. What does he have to deal with this? It's 1 light tank and a Harv that's trying to go back and refill. And another Banshee, probably just instantly get shot down. Oh, gets out of there for a second. Actually really effective against those Corruptors, but I guess that one maybe was just slow. And now the Banshee goes down. Yeah, so this is looking pretty bleak for Hyper. He's got a Commando. That could be pretty good. There's no more anti-armor here. That Harvester just don't mind me, just doing my thing. The Commando in great position. Turret gonna be really nice here, but the Commando is gonna go down. And now these Corruptors going down. Temple Nod should be okay. But here comes wave 2, just pouring in. I don't think Hyper has enough to defend this. Oh, that Corruptor is just within range, but it's targeting that, and the Temple of Nod will go down. Tier 4 was not out. I hear some stealth tanks harassing, going for tier 2. Not a bad play. Gonna get it. The cost at 1 stealth tank barely gets away. Gonna run into some stuff up there, I'm sure. More infantry going down here in the middle. Story loss looking pretty good for Hyper. I think that's just because Legato's been kind of streaming some stuff in, but I don't expect that to last too much longer. There's not many cards left for Hyper to play. He's in a pretty bad position here. Trying to re-expand to the middle. I don't dislike that at all, although there is a lot of chip up here. Might make more sense to just go up here just so it's safer. These Orthodox finally going to go down for Hyper, and that's going to be a big difference. Going to lose both these at the same time. That is a lot of eco that he's going to suddenly not have. Back out here with Apaches over Banshees. I mean, they're really good against the Corruptors. Not so much against the Gunwalkers. Again, that's the AA advantage, but not a whole lot of infantry for these Apaches to snack on. Oh, I do see Temple of Nod coming back up. And another Warp Sphere for Legato. I think that is up to 3 again. 1, 2. Just 2. Yep, so it'll be up to 2. And then he's going to have 2 barracks as well. 2 portals. That's definitely going to outscale this 1-1-1. And I just, again, somehow he's got 5k floating. He's just not spending it all. And he's trying. He's building out all his keys he possibly can. And just, I guess, having just 3 to build off of is not enough. He does have 6 harvesters too, which is probably affecting it a little bit, but he's just absolutely hemmed into his base right now. Legato is just slowly squeezing the life out of him. His Apache. See that there's an army coming down here. It's not too much, honestly. Maybe with Corruptor something to worry about, because it can kind of burst down buildings, but it's a prime example to move some light tanks there and just have fun. Instead, he's going to move his whole army, which, yes, that army in the top is going to come in at the same time, and a 3rd army there. So power plant instantly going down, and then Legato retreats. this army gonna kill Ref and probably retreat. And then this army will hit his Condyard, so as soon as that army comes away, now this one's gonna go back. Man, light tank actually getting taken care of. And all three sides of this base are surrounded. And Legato just picking and poking and slowly whittling them away. Spectre, not the right play there, I think. I mean, it's good against the light armor, sure, but you really just need light tanks there. Deal with everything much more effectively. Airship gonna stay alive for now. That infantry gonna get cleaned up by the commander. He says thank you for that. But hello, here is the tier 2 infantry finally. The intruders and the ravagers, and that's gonna be super tough for him to deal with. He's got 2 rockets to his name, which doesn't really need rockets against intruders and ravagers, but he will against the Darkener tanks and all the other armor units. Back out with the Banshee again, and the Banshee probably gonna be short-lived. Legato is temporarily falling back to the middle, just kind of deathballing now. Army value 19k to 15k, so he's not too far ahead of Hyper. But again, I'm really surprised that Hyper's still in this game somehow. I feel like he should have been dead a long time ago. Light tank barely gonna get away. Nope. Those interlopers super annoying with their instant hit weapon. And Ravagers just slowly coming in. As soon as this light tank falls, this infantry is gonna instantly get deleted. Spectre trying to do some damage there, but just not enough. And there we go. The front lines have fallen, and goodbye infantry. Although it looks like Hyper is doing okay. I think there was a bad move command there from Legato or something. He's definitely lost a lot more than he should have. But there it is. That is all of Hyper's army down. 7,000 to 10,000. So Legato losing a lot of his army there too. Should just kill those harvesters. He's focusing on the ref, but 3 harvesters way more worth your investment. Oh, the Spectre is actually going to be not bad. If he had marked him run at the middle. Loses the ref. Now he's going to lose the harvesters. Those harvesters just getting slowed down at the wrong point, right in front of the Darkener tanks. This one probably going to get stuck on the light tank. Oh no, the Darkener shot at a random minigunner. But that is it. The base is breached. The MCV is going to go down. Ravager gets one shot off on the MCV before it goes down, and Legato pulls back out. I mean, makes sense. More Shadow Team harass. But there is more than enough to deal with them. One probably going to get away. Nope. Ravager just instantly sees it. Comanche out here, not a bad idea. That will be pretty effective against the infantry. Problem is just no whole lot of infantry for Legato. Again, he's been heavier on the tanks. Commando coming back out as well. Where is the commando? Ah, he's up here at forward barracks. Naturally. Hyper, this is probably his last stand. Gonna push out one more time, and as soon as this army gets cleaned up, that'll be it for him. Comanche trying to get something, but again, just not enough infantry presence to really make it worth it. These typical missiles are super nice, but that is not going to be enough. He really needs tier 4. He really needs the cyborgs. That would be absolutely brutal to deal with. I think cyborgs against this kind of composition, I mean, cyborgs in any competition, pretty good if you can get up to that number. There we go. Legato just coming in. Light tanks not super long as these intruders are right here. And everything else, just clean up the infantry. Commander cleaning up some of the infantry, but getting cleaned up by 3 gunwalkers. Comanche missing. And there it is. It's 7,000 to 1,800 army value. Oh, well, that was good. Spectre hit. Evens that out just a little bit, but not enough. 7,000 to 1,800 again. Oh, and Buzzard Swarm right on the infantry. That is brutal. And there is the GG. So that game went on much longer than I thought it was going to. 19 minutes. I thought it would probably be over around like 12, but looks like Legato taking game 1 there. We'll be back for game 2. Alright, we are back here for game 2. This time, Hyper has picked Marked, and Legato gonna stick with any. We are on Onyx. This is another map that I am not super a fan of in RA, and I'm not super fan of it in Combined Arms. It's just really big for Combined Arms. There's a lot of flanking route, and with moving 1 MCV, it can be pretty brutal. You want to try to get here and establish these 3 trees, but after that, it's like, you move down here, then there's a whole lot of exposed place in the north. If you only go like this way and then try to go this way, again, it's like your whole bottom half's exposed, so almost feels like 2 MCs and combined arms is necessary here. There's never a really good time to go there, so it just gets really weird like that. Both these players going infantry first. Would kind of expect them to do double ref, although looks like Legato is going to be a little bit quicker down to this order. You kind of want to get this order first too if you can, because it's much easier to hold once you play Sherms as you here. If you go for this order as hyper, then your opponent can just kill it with base defense and then walk around with an engineer, capture it, and just place another base defense here, and it's pretty much safe. It's also got these old Erics in the back line, which are pretty nice, but those kind of get forgotten for the most part. Legato losing a few warriors right now. This engineer gonna get run off. Just kind of, where's he going? He's going all the way around to the backside. Okay, yeah, he's definitely scared. Should not be here. Again, hyper just being able to take this middle, pushing his refs through. I'd like that. Probably should have an engineer coming. Yep. Not getting this one first though. I think that is a mistake. I mean, going for this here, you know, there's going to be a big engagement here for these middle darks, so you can kind of just try to position your army. And as of now, he's probably going to end up broke again, and yes, he is. So, just a little bit careless on his macro there. Good surround on this oil derrick, so hyper is going to make the correct decision now and go up to the north. Shouldn't be trying to capture this one anyways, at least not for a little while. I mean, maybe if you really want to get that $300 bonus and just kind of deny that to your opponent, it could be good, but definitely more risky in losing that $400 engineer. I don't know about that one. Looks like both these players doing double ref, although hyper is significantly slower on his airstrip right now. He's about 10 seconds behind Legato. It's going to be super annoying if Legato goes for like a gunwalker first. Oh, that barrel explosion, pretty good. Unfortunately, go down. So hyper is going to get his own oil derrick, and the engineer going to get out and claim this one pretty freely. And Legato is just going to be stuck on his one, although he does have another engineer. Engi cap on this would be absolutely brutal. Maybe even the MCD if you're really trying to be bold. Gets the oil derrick, gets the $300 rebate. So he's going to start looking a lot better on the economic front. But again, he's going straight to a light tank after 2 harvesters. I don't like that. Just get those harvester count up. At least 3, you know, maybe 4. Oh, this engineer is coming in. Does hyper see it yet? No, not yet. Oh, it's got the cap on. He might lose this. Nope, he's going to sell a power plant. Not a terrible idea, but that is going to put him low power. Has to cancel another ref, build a power plant. So that engineer probably actually doing its job. Because now Legato up to tier 2, and he's going to move out. So what is he going to do now? Is he going to go into more Darkener tanks or more just traditional infantry span? Watcher coming out. You don't see a lot of those, but they are pretty good. Just it's the stealth, like reconnaissance unit. Don't like that Legato is moving up here. It's such a weird move when this one is closer and you get more tib from it. But it is what it is. He's gonna move up there. He's got one watcher just sitting right there. Build another engineer, trying to steal this one again, but it's probably not gonna happen. Not with that big army sitting right there. What is he gonna do now? Hyper just finishing off that ref that he was forced to cancel earlier. Legato just building up the ref, so big macro coming up. Goodbye, engineer. Your time was short. Just not microed, unfortunately. One corruptor out here, but I don't think he'll do so well. I think that did get, yes, he did see it, so it is parasited. But I think Legato is gonna have a nice little engagement here. Just needs to focus out that one light tank, and all this infantry could go down. Hyper kind of instantly retreating, losing a lot of his army to do so though. And now he's going to come back. Oh, now it's going to be the opposite. He's going to return the favor. As soon as they turn it around, that's when they get killed. All the corruptors trying to get in on that nice juicy ball of infantry, but all it soon is exposing itself to those light tanks and dying. So somehow Hyper making this work, the extra armor, making all the difference here, and just absolutely no disintegrators from Legato. Probably a mistake there. He really needs just a few of them, and maybe like one interloper, just some anti-armor. He's trying to kind of rely on the plasma cannon, but his NC is not around here, so he might actually lose his portal right now. One intruder coming out, harvester going for the crushes, goes down, intruder goes down, and I think Hyper is gonna take this engagement. probably should be using those rockets to shoot the portal. Oh, that's some good crushes. But again, there's just nothing left for Legato here. Needs to stay out of that plasma cannon range. Gets the portal, so now there's going to be no more defensive structures up north. You can just kind of rotate around. This nerve center is exposed. Not a whole lot of here, but maybe just enough. Just depends on how well this corruptor is used. Gonna go for a power, unfortunate, because he loses the rocket instantly. Oh, corruptor barely getting one of the last rockets there. But yeah, that power plant is gonna go down. Not gonna cause Legato a problem. Oh no, he's not gonna go for the power plant. Now he's gonna go for the nerve center. Oh, brutal. Accidentally kills his own gunwalker there with a splash. His light tank's still up, but hello, here's more. And I'm sure, yes, there is a bunch of army sitting in the middle. Legato's got his portal back up here and the war factory, so he's going to be able to hold on to this for now. But again, I think he's just in a really bad position. He's got 3 harvesters. I don't know. I think it's going to be super close here. Darkener might make a difference, since these light tanks are going to have a hard time retreating, but if Hyper can get his armor in front here, I think he's in okay. He does not want to engage here. I don't know why he's going up here. Unless he did not know the MC was there, which I'm pretty well certain he should, since he doesn't hear anything down here or see anything down there. The artillery was a choice. I mean, not a bad choice to have artillery necessarily, but against this armored competition, it's not going to do much. Oh, that corruptor is in a great spot. Getting a lot of infantry for free there. A bike coming in, that's maybe a miscue. I'm not sure what you'd really be using that for. And the bike is not long for this world. It goes, goodbye, I'll see you later. Hyper again, just continue to push where the MCV is. I don't understand that. Keep the fight down here. I know Legato wants to pull his army up there, but you don't have to follow his army. You can kind of force his army to come down. Good artillery hit there. Can't decide if he wants to run or not. Probably gonna barely get away. Oh man, those warriors super low on health. Oh, there comes the bike harass. And hello, Corruptor. Corruptor probably gonna actually deal with those bikes. Nope, just a little too slow. Oh, but this Corruptor gets a nice juicy chunk there. Bike's still be able to run, so Hyper very much keeping his APM up there. 50 to over 74. So somehow still doing it. Killing that goal there could be a great idea. Gonna try to count some harvesters over there, and the MC is no longer there, so that will be good. MC has moved on to Hyper's patch right now, so we might have some base pushing there. And yes, there is going to be an obelisk from Hyper out first, so that's going to shut down the harvester. And he's going to lose a harvester up here at the minimum. Okay, I thought for a second he was going to leave that one behind. I was like, oh, Hyper, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me. This harvester is going to go away for now. We got to rotate his army up there. What is Hyper got following up this? He's up to tier 2. He's got these acolytes out. Acolytes, super annoying for Screen to deal with. Pretty much wreck light armor, so corruptors, yep. Gunwalkers, check. All your infantry, pretty much check. Purchasing one on that bike. It's actually in a good position right now. And those acolytes, super loud, super annoying. Oh, this harvester might barely survive with this gunwalker coming over, but Hyper might just be able to micro that away. Have to see if he's paying attention or not, or if he's microing that army in the middle. Pulls it away. Perfect. And those armies coming in. Just acolytes and rifles. For a little bit of rockets in there, that would just help kill these harvesters that much quicker. The bike does not go far enough away. Gets killed. MCV is up there in the corner for Legato, so he is constantly moving that MCV, which is really nice, but at the same time, he could really use that MCV defending somewhere. Buzzer Storm coming in. That's brutal. Gunwalker's going to come in and clean up a lot of stuff too. And now Hyper's going to get sandwiched in the top, so kind of a throw of that army at the minimum. I feel like destroyed loss is definitely in Legato's favor, and it is indeed. Army value just barely ahead for Legato. But I think Hyper has the tech advantage. He's got the economic advantage. And as soon as his MC gets up here, I expect another obelisk to shut that down. Yeah. Those acolytes gonna do so much damage. Basically, just almost burst through that. Burst through the interloper as well. Not even these darkeners can really stand up to him. And just like that, Legato's armor advantage and army advantage is gone. But these Darkeners gonna be good on the retreat here. Probably gonna get at least one of these light tanks. This one actually might die from the percentage, and it does. Legato is gonna see that there is not much there. Hyper, with a scan, able to see that Legato is in a dire strait here. Can't really get pushed back anymore. Nice sniper there with the Banshee. And that should be it for Legato. I don't think he has a way back into this. Just needs to avoid this plasma cannon. Maybe sit on this tib and kill another harvester for sure. For free too. And is there... Nope, no obelisk coming out just yet. I'll have to keep an eye on it. But Legato goes and calls the GG, so... That is the 1-1, so that means we have a game 3. Hyper... I mean, I really thought he was going to throw there for a minute. Seemed like he was just constantly trickling some of his army in and leaving a lot of it here, and this just would die. But Legato proving that moving your MC up to this spot is bad. That's why I'm going to say he lost that game, so we'll be back for game 3.
Battle control initialized.
Alright, we are back here for game 3. Legato sticking with his Harbinger 31, and Hyper sticking with his Marked. I don't blame him. Acolyte's pretty good, pretty frustrating to deal with as a scrim player. We're on Harmony, so you got 2 Olderics right here in the middle. Honestly, it seems like you have a lot of starting eco, but you really do not. And then you can either go to the north and try to capture this and this at the same time, or you can go to the south and just be really well protected. Just kind of depends on your playstyle there. I think both of them are pretty valid. Although, you know, going down to the south does kind of like close you off, especially if your opponent goes this way, because you have to backtrack and it's very easy for your opponent just to kind of either just skip to right here and block you off that way, or just keep the pressure on your base. So like Legato go in 5 warriors first, and Hyper going for a much bigger infantry first. I wouldn't be surprised if Legato goes for a War Factor first type build, although that can be very risky. We'll have to see. 1 engineer out for him. Hyper just gonna get all those rifles out before engineer. Both these players a little bit slow on placing that ref. I feel like it was ready forever. Maybe it's just the trick of the eye. Regardless, they're gonna be on the same build time, so that's nice there. A lot of rifles coming out for Hyper right now. He's up to 19. Can I see 20? No, he's gonna go for an engineer. So 19 rifles, 1 engineer. Legato only building 5 warriors. This rifle actually gonna get a good scat off, but it's not gonna see much, if anything at all. In fact, Legato just does kind of 3D big brain. Goes, hey, maybe there's some cheese coming or something like that. Just gonna be a rifle. Although he does place the ref there, so I mean, Hyper should kind of expect that to be the second ref. Or that'd be a very weird 3rd ref. Very early 3rd ref, just judging by the timing that you're on. So, should know that he's gone double ref at the very minimum, since he sees the second ref there. If he was going War Factor first, he would not have seen a ref, but he would have had to guess that, and that's a much harder guess. Not a whole lot of scouting info off of one rifle's vision. Both these players going War Factories now. Both of them got a defensive queued up, although it looks like Hyper just canceled him because he's probably out of money, and yes, he was. And part of that's just going so much rifles first, and then engineers just takes that much longer for you to get that rebate, get that extra ticks from the oil derrick. These players placing down a defense structure early too. I mean, I get it as Legato because you're up against spikes, so you're kind of worried about it, but I mean, that's a lot of power draw in just those 3 plasma cannons. Got his warp sphere up now. Is he going to go for Harvester first? He is going to go for Harvester first. Whereas Hyper is going to go for a buggy first, probably try to get a good scout on. And again, he's probably not going to see much, especially with all these plasma cannons. But he could see that this is worth, you know, just killing these 5 warriors and just either just killing it, so he's down that extra eco, because these oil derricks are nice on a sparse eco map like this, or recapturing if you're really into that kind of stuff, which Hyper definitely likes to capture his oil derricks. Hyper going for a 3rd ref, and Legato going for nerf center, so a very quick nerf center off of 2 harvesters. 3rd harvester gonna come out, and the 4th one, nope, he's going back into Gunwalker now, so 3 harvesters and a nerf center, so he's gonna up to tier 2 on 3 harvesters. I don't know about that one. That feels like a play that I just I don't know, I'm not a fan. I like getting my eco established first. He is gonna move out, so that is gonna help, which is be on 3 harvesters. What is he gonna build? Corruptor out of that tier 2? Okay, so he's kind of expecting an early infantry play by Hyper, which makes sense. Hyper 0 rockets in that early infantry army, just now building some rockets, which I mean, yeah, sure, you're against Scrin, so maybe you think there's going to be less armor, but at the same time, man, all it has to do is build one interloper, and that'll just completely counter your armor. So if you are really that ballsy, then sure, absolutely go for it, but I think I like to be prepared a little bit more as well. Legato moving up here, I think kind of makes sense as he's placed all these defensive structures, so he's going to be very passive and defensive on this game. One disintegrator poking at that rifle. Unfortunately, rifle beats disintegrator. Barely just gonna miss these other ones. Although if he lets this corruptor come in, that could be a bad thing to do, and he is gonna do that. So now Hyper is fully aware that he's up to tier 2. See if that changes what he wants to do. Just kind of sitting in his base now, so he's also playing very passive, move down to the south as well. Calling that the game's over after he lost one disintegrator. I mean, that could be it. If Legato loses this game, it's because he lost the one disintegrator. My plan is disintegrated, so like a 6 out of 10 pun there. Not the best pun you could have made in that situation, but hey, could have made something more like that disintegrator needs some extra legs because you know you're Legato. I guess you're the cat, which you're not Hans either. So now I'm just thoroughly confused and my brain's too tired to make dumb jokes like that, so I'm just gonna go back to mindlessly casting this game if you don't mind. Thank you. Alright, cool. Hyper up here with a bunch of light tanks, and it's got a very lightly armored composition here for Legato. Just one corruptor, and you don't want that front lining, and one gunwalker, which you do want front lining, but not against all of this. That'll instantly go down, so I think if Hyper knew that, he would probably want to be considered pushing it right now since he has huge army advantage. Maybe he will see that with his buggy. He sees a lot of it, and he's going to retreat instead. I think he's very worried about the corruptor. There's one darkener tank in there too, but again, you have the absolute combination that could destroy this. Unless I am completely wrong, which is possible. Ooh, tier 3 up for Legato already. It's 6 minutes. Hyper is probably getting close to tier 3 as well. Yep, he is building it. I mean, it makes sense. You do want to get to tier 3 quickly as not. You want to get to tier 4 really quickly. But a Scrin tier 3 isn't super important. It's more just that tier 2. He's researching something out of... No, he canceled it. And so he started some upgrade. I don't even think I've looked at upgrades the past few games. I know that Tip Core was researched. I don't think Legato researched a single upgrade last game. Well, it's not one that I was noticeable. Did see those acolytes start to come out. Just one for now. Looks like he's got 2 in his army. And that commando is being built. We got a Ruiner. I mean, yeah, Ruiners are not terrible. They're not my favorite artillery unit. I feel like they're just very slow to hit artillery. I feel like Corruptors are a little bit better, but Ruiners have so much more range. It makes a little bit more sense. And against these acolytes, with their instant hit weapon, maybe Ruiner is a better choice there. So I will defer to the Scrin main rather than the any main that I am. Commando is out, so Legato is aware that Hyper is on tier 3, and then the Mastermind comes out, so Hyper is aware that Legato's on tier 3. And we're going to have our second engagement of this game, which is coming at 7 minutes in, and a total of 1,100 to 300 lost right now. Oh, Light Tank going to see that there is a little bit of a split here, and this is actually a good split army. Oh, Mastermind capturing that Light Tank, sure, why not? Send that back into your opponent and deploy Mind Spark. It's always nice to do. Splitting against Commando is always an interesting choice because if you run into the Commando with a split army, you're in a lot of trouble. But if you bypass an army and you can get to a base, then it can be really good because then your opponent wants to just naturally rotate all that army back to kind of save it, especially when you have that Commando, because you're like, oh yeah, the Commando can totally clean that up. But that just allows you to rotate with your other army, and it can kind of quickly be turned into an outflanking pacing game right there. But both these players go in the opposite directions right now. I think maybe Hyper is thinking about moving that MCV and he wants to bring that army over to protect it, which I do like as well. He's got good scouts across the map too, so he is going to see that Hyper, or Legato rather, is moving through the middle. And he stops to kill the Oligarch, which is going to give Hyper time to rotate back. So this could be pretty good for Hyper. These scouts just being phenomenal for him. Buggy going down, but hey, it's done its job. Oh, is there friendly fire? Almost kills his own mind-controlled light tank. Here's something. Oh, it is the drone platform, or colony platform. But here we go. We're going to have a pretty big engagement here. Instant mind cap on that light tank. Oh, but he managed to snipe out the commando. That's going to be big because his commando is still alive and there's a lot of juicy targets. But he has no armor in front. Oh no. This is so close. I think Legato is just going to lose out here. There was not a whole lot of micro going on, but both these players are going to lose a significant amount of his army. Oh, the C4 going off on the tripod. That is unfortunate. Legato going to lose his entire army for basically half of Hyper's army. Yeah, not zapping that commando did make a difference, although it kind of stood by in the back for a long time. But I think it was just all those acolytes doing a lot of damage there. That could have gone so much better for Legato, and I think had he killed off that airstrip right there, that would be very hard for everybody to come back. I think for Annihilator Trap-On, it's a little too early for that too. Maybe once he gets up to like Cyborg Elites, that's when you maybe want to start using them. They're not going to be very good against acolytes. If anything, I mean, Storm Riders would not be bad against this composition. But I know Legato does not like his air. Templars coming out too. They're even better than the acolytes. Oh, nice little flank there by those avatars, but not avatars, tripods. That's next release. Plasma Cannon cannot stand up to that much laser. And Legato is in a lot of trouble right now. He's got 4 tripods right now, so he's going to be able to clean up this army, but he is starting to hurt. Last thing going on down there. Both these players did get their expect, although looks like Hyper lost something or killed something over here. Maybe a power plant. It's very weird that he has 2 buildings and then nothing right here. Is there tier 4? Yep, there is tier 4. So I'm assuming where you're going to see some high-end stuff right now. Guess this is a good time to actually see if they've got upgrades. And Hyper has got all of them: tip core, cybernetic legs, improved cyber armor. So all he just needs to research is that advanced cyborgs. Not being researched currently, not that I can see. It's just sticking with Templars for now. Not a bad idea at all. Templars, super effective. Almost gets something there, but got capped by the Meisterman. I don't think cyborgs can get capped except for Templar because they're not really cyborg, they're slow infantry. Although I think you can, maybe it's just cyborg elites that can't get capped, or maybe they can get capped. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. SSM's trying to find something there, but not finding much at all. This commando is in great position again, gets the Mastermind again. Mastermind does go down, but again, had to bring all of his units to do that. And now Mastermind, or I'm falling apart. Tripod's just gonna get whittled down as they try to retreat. These Templars a little too fast for that. The Cyborg Reapers instantly dealing that tripod. Oh, there goes the Frenzy. It's gonna make them that much quicker. Increase the rate of fire and just run through this stuff. Although somehow that tripod just living to tell the tale. Even saves that one warrior. What a legend. What is Legato got going back off this? He's got his 2 warp spheres pumping out Annihilator tripods, 3 warp spheres, so 2 pumping out Annihilator tripods, 1 pumping out gun walkers. He's sending up a bunch of warriors. So not a whole lot of armor, anti-armor, just kind of relying on the tripods there. Both these players did get that expansion up. Where is your drone colony? Did I miss it going down somehow? Oh, it's right there. I'm losing it, man. Hyper losing a building there. I don't even remember what it was. But I think if these light tanks get in front, he's going to have a pretty good engagement here. But he kind of can't feed into this retreating. And there he goes, the loud lasers. And a lot of that going down. He's pulling the tripods out, but he actually needs to keep those in front. This right here is going to easily go down to all those Templar. Mastermind coming back out, but it's not going to make it in time for this fight. And yeah, Hyper just cleaning through that. Needed to sacrifice some of those Annihilator tripods. This Ruiner, I don't think it's been doing too much at all. Actually, it keeps missing. It's kind of the nature of it. Venom coming out here, that's a bold choice, but it's going to be nice for scouting. But I think this colony platform is a lot of trouble, and this field manipulator definitely in a lot of trouble. Oh, those SSMs not shooting at the right thing. Barely against the splash on that old Derek. Oh, nice little flank over here. How to use the force field. I think this tripod's going to be too slow to kill it. It's going to lose his tier 3, so no more tripods. And I think that's been one of his saving graces so far. It's going to split him back onto tier 2. And at the same time, Hyper's getting pushed back a little bit here. These Venoms are going to be nice against these out tripods, but that is so much Templar. Not even the tripod can withstand that. Templar up there, get cleaned up. Again, Hyper just slowly strangling the life out of Legato right now. That plasma cannon instantly goes down. I think this is probably going to be it for Legato. Last little armor base is going to go down. And it's going to lose his colony platform and another warp sphere, of course. There he goes. Like 25% instant gone. And there is the GG, so it was that disintegrator going down. I guess that did it. Well played by Hyper there. Looked pretty strong. Not a single Cyborg Elite, which is surprising. Maybe he had a thing against him, but those Templar are definitely making a huge difference there. So looks like Legion is a good pick against Scrin, at least against Hyper, or at least against Legato Scrin, but that's going to be it for this slowly brain like eating juice cast, as I am apparently very tired. Yeah, I'll see you next time.